What's up, Dabomaniacs? Welcome back to another episode of Dabstroyero vs. the Movies, the show where I elbow drop some ridiculous riffs on some foul and forgotten flicks. Today I'm going full heel as I go one-on-one with a tiny, cute, adorable squirrel. The 1950s short Squeak the Squirrel, to be precise. So, will I RKO this rodent, or will this squeaky squirrel suplex slam me? Find out now on Dabstroyero vs. Squeak the Squirrel. Oh yeah! Now hit my theme music.
Oh man, these movies can't be that bad. Or maybe they could be. These movies better watch out, cause he's not about to shut his mouth. Dabstroyero versus the movies. He's elbow dropping riffs, making movies say I quit. Cause it's Dabstroyero and he's making fun of film. So it's Dabstroyero versus the movies.
Well, it's a good thing I got my rabies shot before this one. Yeah, and he'll learn to stay away from my bird feeder if he knows what's good for him.
Look, on that stump.
I'm not falling for that again.
Is it a chipmunk? It looks like a chipmunk, all right, but it's really a squirrel, a golden-mantled ground squirrel.
Num num num.
We call him that because of the golden fur around his neck and head.
That squirrel's blinged out.
His name is Squeak. Squeak the Squirrel.
But that's just his rap name. His family knows him as Maurice.
When a squirrel whistles,
I think that squirrel
others
just
stop and
catcalled
listen.
me.
What do you think the whistles mean?
It means that squirrel needs some WD-40.
All day long, Squeak looks for seeds and nuts. He eats some food where he finds it, and some he carries away to his nest in the ground.
Cannonball!
A squirrel doesn't like others around when he's eating.
Hungry and violent.
He growls and chases them away.
That's how you can tell it's an American squirrel.
Let's see what Squeak does when he meets a squirrel that he's never seen before. We'll fool him with a mirror.
I'm working on the
What?
squirrel in the mirror. I'm asking him to share
He
some
thinks
nuts.
that squirrel in the mirror will run away. But he just sits and nibbles, too.
So he says to the guy, if you want me in your picture, I need 8% on the back end. Squeak don't work for peanuts.
Say, what kind of a squirrel is this anyway?
Squeak could hardly even recognize the squirrel he had become.
Looks like a squirrel. But he doesn't smell right, does he, Squeak? And he certainly doesn't feel right.
They grow up so fast, he's already practicing kissing in the mirror.
Well, a squirrel like that's a waste of time, and Squeak has work to do.
His shift at Amazon starts in an hour, and if he's late, his boss gets all up on
If
his
you
nuts.
hold very still, a squirrel will come up and eat out of your hand.
Typical liberal rodent wanting a handout.
Watch how he shoves the nuts into pouches in his cheeks.
He's very popular on the squirrel version of Grindr.
Look at his long whiskers. Do you think they would tickle your hand?
All right, who did the background check on this narrator? We might have an HR issue here.
Being good to a squirrel makes him more friendly. Now, Squeak isn't afraid at all. He goes right after that food.
Oof, lady, where's that hand been?
If you tie the nut to a string, he grabs it.
Oh, he's flying a little squirrel kite.
The more you pull, the harder he pulls.
No. It's step, step, twist, step, pivot.
See how he bites off the shell to get at the nut? He knows how to get what he wants.
Extortion scheme.
A squirrel is a smart little animal, don't you think so? And when peanuts are hidden in a box, Squeak will poke his head in to get them.
Nuts in the box! There are nuts in the box!
He shoves as many nuts as possible into his pouches. See how his cheeks bulge? And still he keeps getting more.
The sign says all you can eat, so I'm going to eat all that I can eat. Just, why even have the sign if it's not actually all you can eat?
His cheeks are so fat, he can't get his head into the smaller box.
Been there before.
Have you ever seen anyone work so hard to get what he wants?
Yeah, only once, but that was also nut related.
Now, let's try something new.
Squirrel kebabs.
We found out that a squirrel will work for food, that he can use his paws to reach and pull, and that he can learn simple things like finding peanuts in a box.
And that's why he's
But
perfect for middle management.
Can he learn something he hasn't tried before? Let's see how smart a squirrel really is.
Yeah, they're gonna send him an email with a suspicious link in it.
Here's a glass tube.
So it is.
We'll put some peanuts in one end of the tube.
They're finally teaching Squeak to vape.
Squeak has been watching us.
And plotting our deaths.
Do you think he can get the nuts?
The film really does gloss over the fact some evil scientist kidnapped a squirrel.
He goes right to the tube and uses his tongue to reach them.
I learned this move in
He
Cancun.
sees that the best way to get the nuts is from the open end of the tube.
Can you believe Squeak put on 4 ounces for this role and didn't even get an Oscar nomination? Travesty.
But now his tongue isn't long enough to reach those that are left. So he sniffs and licks and scratches.
Oh, that's just all the fleas he's covered in.
He tries to push his face into the tube, but still he can't get the peanuts that he can see.
Finally, science is answering the hard questions, like what happens if you feed a squirrel a bunch of nuts over and over?
Shall we help him?
He wouldn't help us.
All right. Let's tie a string to the nut. Do you think Squeak can learn to pull the string?
Well, either that or he's about to hang himself to get out of the movie.
There. He sees where the nut is, but he can't get it.
Typical.
Perhaps at the other end of the tube. No, that didn't work.
Get it together, Squeak.
He moves his nose back and forth under the nut.
Thus proving if you film a squirrel long enough, eventually you'll film him sniffing his nuts.
He even touches the string, but leaves without pulling it.
He knows you're just stringing him along.
Let's push the nut in a little farther and try again.
This film actually makes a good case for not funding the sciences.
He's beginning to get curious about that string. See him sniff at it?
It's almost like he's working out some sort of string theory.
Watch now. He pulled the string. Was it luck?
It was divine intervention.
We'll let him take the nut to his nest and then try it again.
And again if we have to. I won't rest until we've tested every possible scenario involving string and squirrels.
This time he faces the tube and pulls the string with his teeth and paws.
Why is it that when I pull a string, all I do is unravel my sweaters?
Here's something that will show you just how well Squeak can learn a lesson. We'll push the peanut far into the tube with a stick.
This is some very high-tech science happening.
Watch how Squeak acts after he's practiced many, many times. He goes right to the string and pulls hand over hand. He certainly learned that lesson well, didn't he?
And next we're going to find out if he can pilot a space shuttle on re-entry.
Here's another test.
Time for some microwave
We'll
squirrel.
put a peanut on one end of the string and a stick on the other. We'll hang the two ends through a wire screen. This time, Squeak has to do more than pull the string. He has to pull the right end.
And if he pulls the wrong one, he gets slimed.
Will he find the end with the nut?
Squeak and his super fun science playset sold separately. In stores now.
There must be something to eat around here someplace.
Nope, just the Denny's.
Let's put another peanut on the string.
This guy has trouble in his marriage because his answer to everything is put a peanut on a string.
Wrong again.
Idiot.
He tries so hard that he makes the same mistake over and over.
Yeah, you nerds better hope I don't get this stick. Squeak's been bulking up.
And then he turns to the right end of the string again.
By God, Squeak's on top of the damn cage. All hell's breaking loose. He's tearing that peanut apart.
Let's change the peanut and the stick around.
Mr. Peanut stars in
Will that mix him up?
Mission Impossible. Dun 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 dun
No.
dun.
He's learned to pull the right end almost without looking. How do you think he does it?
Maybe it's
The more
Maybelline.
lessons he learns, the more he gets to eat. Isn't Squeak getting to be a fat little squirrel?
Oh yeah, he's gonna be good grilling soon. Served with a nice peanut sauce.
Now for another new problem.
PETA's outside protesting.
We'll tie the peanut on the string and hang it so it's out of reach. This time the string is out of reach too. What do you think he'll do now?
He's gonna put on some emo music and get all up in his feelings.
At first, when he sees the peanut, he reaches for it. He sniffs around and stretches for the nut again.
It's about time Squeak started taking his fitness seriously. He's getting a little chonk.
He even holds on to the rod with one paw while he reaches. Now Squeak sees the string, but he catches his tail on it and is frightened away.
Chicken!
We'll try again.
That rat is gonna walk this tightroper, so help me God!
Now watch him use one paw and his nose to pull the string.
The Adrian Brody technique.
He learned how to work the problem in just 2 tries.
Turns out jolts of electricity are surprisingly motivating.
Here's a
Nice, they
different
built a
test.
squirrel trebuchet.
We'll hang the peanut out of the squirrel's reach. A string is tied to a box that can be pulled. Can you figure out what Squeak should do to get the nut?
You know, I can put up with the pseudoscience, I can stomach the animal abuse, but what really sickens me, what really grinds my gears, at no point are they even going to consider offering me any of those peanuts. Like, come on, just share. So rude.
There. He got another nut to put away in his nest. Let's try this again.
Or how about we just call it a day and interact with some humans for a change? No? It was worth a shot.
See how he runs back and forth and looks over the problem? He's learned that he can use a string to help him get something he wants.
Those lasso lessons really paid off.
He didn't know how to use a string when he was living out in the woods, did he?
Stupid squirrel, all he knew was freedom. They finally hung Mr. Peanut for his crimes against humanity.
Does it surprise you to find out how much an animal can learn?
You don't want to get Squeak started on animal testing. Oh no, there he goes. He's getting up on his soapbox again.
That time he pulled the box so that it isn't quite under the nut.
Thank you. Seriously though, give yourselves a round of applause. You've been a lovely audience. Figaro. Oh, it's like he's reaching out for someone to save him from this horrible science experiment. Oh, how cute.
There, he did it. There'll never be a shortage of nuts for a hard-working, smart little squirrel like Squeak.
And Squeak lived happily ever after, until they tested some cosmetics on him and he died a week later. There it is. I nearly cracked like an acorn from this nutty film, but Squeak the Squirrel got silenced. Thank you so much for watching. Please elbow drop me a comment and let me know your favorite riff or if you thought of any ridiculous riffs of your own. And also be sure to like this video and don't forget to punch that subscribe button to join my tag team and help me on my goal to 100 subscribers. But that's all for now. Until next time, be nice to squirrels and keep elbow dropping those riffs. Oh yeah!
Watch how he shoves the nuts into pouches in his cheeks.
He's very popular on the squirrel version of Grindr.